name is Jenna and today we are talking about the back catalogue books I should read but probably won't. So here's the thing, I don't bear any ill will towards any of these books. It's just that I had a couple of years where I was in kind of a big reading slump, and before that I never really kept up with new releases anyway. I kept up with some new releases when they were ridiculously popular, books like The Hunger Games, Shadowhunters, all of those sorts of series I kept up with, but there was just this period of 2 or 3 years where I just didn't read, or I read a very small amount, and that hurts me to think back on it now, that I was in such an insane reading slump that it took over my life for a couple of years, and I only really got out of it once I found and started making booktube videos, which was in 2016. So as you can imagine, there were a lot of books that I missed in that period, and going back and watching some of the big booktubers' old videos, a lot of books pop up, and I think if I had been in the community around that time, I probably would have read them. So I have made a list of back catalogue titles that I should definitely read at some point in my life. It is ridiculously long. There are crazy amounts of series on there. Series like the Lux series, the Legend trilogy, the Darkest Minds trilogy, the Lunar Chronicles, Throne of Glass series, the Fallen Kingdom series. I could just go on forever, but I will not, because there are so many good books out there that I want to read. So many of them are back catalogue, so many of them are new releases, and it's just getting to a point where my brain is exploding with the amount of books that are out there. So I have a list of 8 books slash series that are on this list. In fact, I think all of them are series, and these are the series that I do think I should read because they're such staples in the book community. They're books that I have actually been interested in the past, but they're just something that I've never read, and at this point I don't know if I ever will. So the first series that I have on this list is the Ugly series by Scott Westerfield. When I was in high school in English class, I actually remember my relief teacher coming up to me and saying, "Have you read the Ugly series by Scott Westerfield? Because I think you would really enjoy it." And I looked it up and I went, "Yes, oh my goodness, this looks amazing." And then I just never read them. And now Scott Westerfield is coming out with new books that are in this world that I feel like I should read the Ugly series first, because I do still think that they sound like good books. But the further away from them we get, the more I sort of go, will I like them now, or would I have liked them back then? And I don't want to read something that I won't like now just because I'm much older than when I first originally wanted to read them. That's why I'm finding it so hard to read the back catalogue books that are on my shelf. When I picked them up, I definitely would have loved them, but reading them now, I don't like them as much. And the perfect example of that is actually just the Glimmerglass trilogy by Jenna Black. I read the first book back in 2009 when it first came out, kept collecting the next 2, didn't read them until last year, and didn't think they were all that good. Definitely would have liked them if I had read them all in high school. So the second series that is on this list is an absolute staple in the book community, and one that I think of all of the books that are on this list, I actually think this is the series that people are going to be the most shocked about, and that's the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. Everyone seems to love this series. They really enjoy it, they hate the movie, or they love the movie. It's kind of a weird trade-off here. Some people are like, yes, movie. Other people are like, gross, movie. And I don't know why I never got into Vampire Academy. I just didn't. I think Twilight ruined vampires for me for good, and I just never read the Vampire Academy series. And I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I could go back to the vampires, especially if they're like romantic vampires. I don't think they are to the extent that Twilight is, and I'm sure I'll have people in the comment section correcting me, but I just don't know if Vampire Academy is something that I would enjoy reading about now. I'm pretty positive I wouldn't, and I don't want to read something just because it's a staple in the booktube community. The third series that I have on this list is the Beautiful Creatures series by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This is a series where I saw the film first, absolutely loved it, and really wanted to pick up the books, but the further away from watching the film I've gotten, the less I've wanted to read the books. I still feel like they're important books to read, I just don't see me getting to them anytime soon. The next series I have on this list is the Wolves of Mercy Falls series by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the Shiver series as well. I think it's sometimes called the Shiver series, if you guys are wondering. So here's the thing, I've never read a single Maggie Stiefvater book. I just haven't. And if I'm going to read any Maggie Stiefvater books, pretty sure it's gonna be the Raven Cycle, which is what I think that series is called. I don't see me going way back into her catalogue to read this Wolves of Mercy Falls series. If I'm gonna read any, I'm gonna go with the most popular one, which is definitely the Raven Boys, or the Raven Cycle. The one with the ravens. Next series on this list is a trilogy, which is just of companion novels, and that is the Anna and the French Kiss companion series by Stephanie Perkins. Y'all know me, y'all know I don't love contemporaries, but Anna and the French Kiss, Isla and the Happily Ever After, and the other one are so popular here on BookTube. They were so popular, they were in everyone's faces a few years ago, and yeah, I never read them, and I'm pretty sure I never will. They're not my kind of thing, and now it's bugging me. There's Anna and the French Kiss, there's Isla and the Happily Ever After, and there's one in between, I'm positive, but I have no idea what it is. None at all. So the next series is another one that was super hyped up here on BookTube, and that is the Selection series by Kiara Cass. I'm not going to read this one. I know that I probably should because it is a back catalogue series that was so popular on BookTube, and I sort of feel like I can't be a complete reader and booktuber if I don't read the series, but I can tell you right now, I won't like it. If it is, isn't it like The Bachelor meets something else? And I hate The Bachelor with every fiber of my being. So I am pretty sure I won't like this series. And I'm kind of at the point where there are so many new releases coming out and so many back catalogue series I actually do want to read that I'm not gonna read something if I know I'm not gonna like it. Next up, we have the White Rabbit Chronicles by Gina Showalter. This is the Alice in Zombieland series, and I remember hearing a lot about this series, and I remember seeing it a lot in bookstores and at the library and always going, I want to read that. I love Alice in Wonderland, I love retellings, I love this idea, I want to read that. Never did. Just kept putting it off. I don't even know why. I think I found another Alice in Wonderland retelling, The Looking Glass Wars, which were fantastic and I loved them, and so I just think I never continued the Alice in Wonderland retelling train, and now I'm not sure I will. I feel like zombies are another thing that they kind of come in ebbs and flows, and if they're gonna come back, I'm gonna read the new stuff that's coming out. I'm not gonna go back and be like, oh, we're in a mass zombie publishing hall, let's go back and read the old zombie books that I missed out on. I just don't see that happening. But this is a weird one because I know it was super talked about on BookTube, but I'm pretty sure it was talked about because a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know. I really don't, but it is, again, one of those series that I feel like I should read, but I probably won't. The very last series that I have on this list is in the same vein as the White Rabbit Chronicles, and that is the Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page. This is another one that was super talked about and hyped up on BookTube in BookTube's early days. It is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz as if Dorothy was the bad guy, and I thought it sounded really great. And if I had heard about it when it came out, I 100% would have read it, but I didn't. And when I finally did hear about it, it was quite a few years later. I don't think the final book in this series had been released though, so I did have a chance to catch up. I just didn't. And now I hear a lot of people telling me that they're not liking the series, and I think that's because of the age that they're reading them, and I'm that age now and I'm kind of going, probably won't like this anymore, so unlikely I think I'm going to read it. I think what I'm going to take away from this video is not so much that I'm never going to read these books. There's always the opportunity that I might. It's just more that while back catalogue books are great, you know, the further back you get, the higher the chance you're not going to like it. Especially if it's a book that you originally picked up, say, in high school, and now I'm 7 years older than I was when I was in high school. So there is no guarantee that I am going to have the same tastes. In fact, I'm unlikely to have the same tastes since then. My reading has changed. My reading habits have changed. I'm reading different books, and that's something that is always going to happen. So while there will always be back catalogue books around, because there is no way I will ever be able to read every single new release I want to read in a year. There's too many factors involved for why that can't happen. I do need to be careful with the back catalogue books that I choose to read because we have so many books to read and not enough time to read them in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below, what are some back catalogue series that you don't think you're ever going to get to, but know that you probably should. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.